Starry.
I'm not.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Strim. Did you stream it to the right group? Because I don't see it on the RPG table.
Give it a second.
I did.
Twitch twitches.
Twitch gets a little twitchy sometimes.
Oh, there it is. Yeet.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
he-
salutations, family. Welcome to today's episode of Take a Breath, sponsored and, run through the RPG table. Us. We're joined by Junie Von Ash, storyteller who's currently scampering around her kitchen, collecting doodads and, doing the things. Cymerk, a.k.a. Gabe in Game. Nerdy Encounters, a.k.a. Charmelia. And, I don't know. Do we just want to kind of dive right on into this? We will have an upload of our video up on YouTube probably later today. We had a little bit of issues with Twitch keeping it due to settings, but it will be available on youtube.com/the RPG table. Is that right, Smalls?
It's a weird link. Give me a second. I will just do the thing that I set up.
We'll shout it out again and get it settled at the very end.
There you go. Oh, I need to put spaces. Ignore that. Motherfuck.
Yeah, we're pros.
Can
we're
we
totally
say
pros
that on stream?
Motherfuck.
Thank you,
Did we just
Backyard,
drop the
for the
motherfucker
host.
right off the bat?
Welcome to Take a Breath, where the words don't matter anyway.
You're not
They
right.
don't matter in a
Welcome to
regular
Take a
stream.
Breath,
Why
where
are
the
they gonna
vampires are
matter now?
bad and the points don't matter. Except for their blood points. If they run out of those, then it's just a bad time for half the people
That's
involved.
Oh, or a fun time, depending on which angle you look at.
I mean, are they Sabat?
You don't know.
I don't want to work. No.
Schrodinger Sabat.
Shorty. They are or are not a Sabat, depending on if you let them out of the box.
Well, you did let one out of the box. That was yesterday.
Oh, that was a dick in a box. But anyways.
Okay, let's see if I
So,
fixed it. Ha.
currently, this is a couple members of our hopeful coterie, depending on who murders
See how it
whom,
goes.
and I'm pretty sure Charlotte's just gonna gank Frank at some point. Like, it's just gonna be mediocre.
I'll
But,
watch.
Got money on it.
Amelia has no qualms with it. Charlotte's like, he fucking cocky ass.
but she loves it.
Debatable
She likes
sometimes.
being challenged.
That
She
is
likes being
questionable,
challenged.
third.
She needs somebody to challenge her, to push her to excel. Because I feel that she's been complacent.
God. You haven't seen her backstory.
Nope, and I don't care. So, do we want to go briefly into character bios, who we are, how we're doing, how we fell into this world? All right. Any volunteers to start?
Oh, you start us
Amelia's-
off.
Yeah.
Yes! Yes, yes.
So, I am Edward Frank Watchin Game. Frank, because, quite frankly, I'm kind of frank with people. Yeet. Thin Blood pretends to be a Brujah to make life easier. As you will saw in yesterday's episode, or if you haven't seen it yet, then on our YouTube or on our Twitch videos, he uses abilities that aren't exactly Brujah. It stems from being a true Brujah, at least by blood. And since he's a Thin Blood, he's able to pull it off because of there's a vampiric discipline perk that I snagged. Very useful. Anyways, backstory. Born early 1800s, father was working Industrial Revolution, slammed the railroads, hence the bucket of apples comment yesterday, or via last session. Let's just go with last session. Make
We're
it
doing
easy.
last session. Yeah, that's appropriate.
Was turned by a true Brujah that caught him unawares, left for sort of undead, and picked up by a sheriff that decided to take a little bit of pity on him. Just wrong place, wrong time. Figured, all right, I can use him. He's a Thin Blood. He's a Daywalker. He's a Duskborn.
He's gonna die soon. This is fine.
Yeah, he'll die. Lo and behold, 100 years later. No, just jumped around principality. Fell into a good line of work with a baron named Eric out in Indiana, and has come up north to find some honest work, so to speak, and look into a couple things for Eric and himself. probably staying up here permanently if he likes it enough, but it depends on the kindred.
Yeah.
Junie can't go.
Gabe? I think you were the last one.
All right. Well, I am Gabe, who is a Tremere.
Does he have a last name?
Yeah. Gabe
No.
Arias.
R.E.S. Okay.
He's got actually a lot of names.
Do you want to do the whole name?
Oh
God, it's a
I can't.
Percy
Hold up.
DeRollo situation.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
his name is Gabriel Ramon Domingo Velez Arias.
Oh, baby.
I'm
That's
gonna
the
speak
stuff.
Also-
about
oh,
my
that's-
father
That's
prepared to die.
exotic.
Yeah.
Also, he's Irish. No, I'm totally kidding.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
also Irish Italian. Father O'Malley O'Donnell.
Yeah.
Who's also Italian.
He's also Italian.
He's kind of just like I would describe him as sarcastic professional.
Brooding professional.
Yeah, brooding
This is-
professional.
this is
I
true.
mean, you know,
The
gotta fit that
vampire.
Tremere mold. So.
How about you, Smalls?
Amelia or Charlotte, it's gonna go back and forth.
Charizard.
Charmelia.
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 Is a Malkavian who suffers from suffers from dissociative identity disorder. So she was born Amelia, went through childhood trauma, which created Charlotte.
What was the trauma? What's in the box?
She was
Charlotte.
in the box, actually.
She is the box.
Charlotte was in the
She's
box.
Pandora.
She was beaten and kept in a blanket chest, and was also hardly fed around the age of 6 and 7, because her parents wanted a boy and she was not. She was turned in 1839 at the age of 17. And from there, she was raised by her sire, who was not kind. And then she, in turn, helped raise William, who helped raise Artemis.
Well, briefly, until dear old daddy decided to put a stake in his chest and leave him for dead. But that's not this chronicle. Well, it might be
not
this chronicle. It
We'll see.
depends.
We'll see.
It depends on how quick Frank dies.
Oh Lord.
Hey, Junie,
Yes.
She was.
bring it.
I mean, we were pretty close yesterday.
Right?
Yeah, we were. She was also one of the players in the Anarch War in Los Angeles in 1943, 1944. And then from there, she ended up in Naperville, working as an assassin for the Baron.
Of Joliet.
Why?
Why not?
Reasons.
Raisins? Raisins?
Raisins.
Are they pruning?
They might be.
Why not?
And Junie, how about you? Is there any NPCs that you want to present info on, or do you want us to just be blind?
Well, I am taking care of. Let me actually get his name right because we all know myself and names.
I'm pretty sure it's Frank.
No. Joshua.
Joshua.
Oh, hold on. He's got a Joshua Terapolaski,
Who is?
who is the Baron of Joliet and Naperville. I'm handling him at the moment. I will be introducing other NPCs as they come up, and Artemis has already made a appearance.
Debut.
Yes. Well, Artemis happens to know Amelia quite well, and being that she's a cam,
Dear younger sister.
but I will say there might be a chance that Gwen might show up. So between Artemis and Gwen, I think those are the two camis that
I don't
might.
want to dueling banjos with Gwen so bad.
I don't know. You really want to do that?
No. I really don't, but I really do.
Yeah.
Like,
just,
you know, my outside Cammy is just like, maybe. My inside Sabac's just like, give it to me, baby.
she will be more than happy to give it to
To
you.
put me down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say, did anyone else
Yay!
resist the urge to sing?
Yes. Hey,
So-
McStabbers, we're doing our after show. How are you doing?
Stabbers.
Salutations. So that's Joshua Barron that we will be loosely working for, well, working toward our own ends. There was also a Nos that you introduced yesterday.
Elizabeth.
Can you give us a little bit of information on her?
Elizabeth is actually the sister of Clara.
That's what I thought.
That would explain the sweetest accent.
Yeah.
And Clara and Elizabeth work on separate sides. But it really doesn't matter with Nosferatu, because Nosferatu always go clan first before what sect you're a part of, because that information always has to flow so that they can actually handle things. So I thought, instead of having Clara, because Clara in this chronicle at this time
is dealing with the Stitch and Bitch because Victoria's in a time bubble.
Right. And this is actually in the middle of the time bubble period of 3.5 years that the original season 1 people had that time jump in. So right now we're in that bubble of the coterie from last season is not even in this frame of experience. Right. You're a little sore from the project going yesterday. Moving 200 pounds of... Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
Hey, it's going to look amazing.
Yeah.
So
that's Elizabeth. What about Tony and his brother? Can you give us a little insight on...
Tony and his brother. What was it? Hold on, I have my notes from yesterday.
I think it was Tony and Anthony.
I thought it was Tony and Johnny.
It was Tony and Johnny. It's Johnny's Pizza right now.
Johnny's Pizza.
So Tony, so Johnny and Tony happen to be brothers, longtime Joliet relations.
Mario and Luigi of Pizza.
Pretty much. And it's Johnny's Pizza right now, which may eventually turn into Tony's Pizza. And
you got it.
Yeah, exactly. And Johnny right now owns a pizza joint, and is a direct ghoul to Joshua. Tony is his younger brother, and even though he's not a ghoul, he's well aware of the world within the world, but keeps his mouth shut because Johnny tends to talk in his sleep. So Tony's aware of shit. Tony's not going to...
He shouldn't be.
Yes, and Tony's not saying anything. He just does what he has to do, does it well, and makes sure he gets back to where he has to go, and he doesn't make any problems.
You think that's because of his Italian pride?
I think it's more of his loyalty to his brother.
Family.
Or him wanting to stay alive.
That too.
There's probably that. There's definitely that.
Survival is always key.
Yeah, living is hard, yo.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. Stitches
Just get stitches.
Yes. And being that he and his family have lived in Joliet for so long, you know, with the Joliet jail and everything else that's around Statesville, he knows very, very well what happens when you talk about things. And even though this is Joliet, there was mafia back in the day in Joliet. There are gangs, and there are different crime syndicates that run through Joliet. So even though it's an hour south of Chicago, Chicago and Joliet are connected by a lot of crime family history. And so bringing the Chronicle from Chicago down to Joliet, we are going to go back to Chicago at points. So it's not all going to be suburbs. But this is more of like standing the staple of where everyone's haven is, where everyone has settled down at, and where everyone is kind of like going, okay, we're here, we're anarchs, we're not Cam. What are we doing here? What's going to go on? How's it going to go forth? And actually, Joshua is a staple in Chicago by Night's Chronicle. So he right now is the Baron of Joliet in Naperville, and who knows what will happen afterwards.
Not for long.
Maybe somebody will take over. We don't know yet. But
I think it wouldn't be a hostile takeover, though, just for the record. Like, I want it firmly on record.
It's a hostile takeover, or a very...
No, it will not be a hostile takeover.
No.
Every bit of blood is useful blood to William.
Well, I have written, and I have kind of had that idea go down where somebody may be persuaded from his brother, and things might have gently taken over through that means. And
yeah.
However...
it depends on what happens, though. Like,
exactly.
He could pretend to be something he's not, but we shall see.
You're not wrong. But a lot of the stories right now, or at least the basic starting point we're doing, is Joliet and Naperville. Kind of build up that point, because with this corridor of area that is Anarch territory, you're dealing with werewolves, mages, anarchs, remnants of the Sabbat, and plus all of the crime that's come from Chicago that's been pushed out from the Camarilla filters down in, because in Joliet there is that corridor that runs on I-80. I-80 is pretty much the interstate across America. And vampires usually right now are underneath the Inquisition. They're finding different ways of transportation and movement, and the Amtrak station up in Joliet goes down to St. Louis, and they can spread all over the place. On top of that, because of where Joliet sits on the I-80 corridor, a lot of trucks, a lot of places you can sit there and rest, take a break. And
drifters and vagrants too.
Yes, a lot of drifters
take a
and vagrants.
breath.
Yeah. Hi. Now, if only I lived down in Joliet again.
Are you telling Junie to take a breath? Because I think she did stop breathing there through that explanation.
No, that wasn't the plan, but that's the idea.
But no, I've been thinking of a couple of ways to keep, a couple things down in that corridor for a bit, because as, say, people who are getting bloodheaded come down, they got to pass through Joliet. A lot of people, because nobody really wants to go up to Wisconsin at the moment because of Madison and what's going on up there, because that's where Cora's territory is in. And Kara. And Kara was that former Tremere Prince that started her own renegade house, and she's now being hunted by some of the Camarilla and such. So
a lot of things in play outside of just our little box.
Exactly. So trying to keep everything intact, because we do have a Tremere down here, and depending on how things roll, it makes it easier.
No, that's fair. Well, since we have an idea of who our players are, well, some of our players and some of our NPCs, do we also want to go a little bit into detail as to our other two kindred?
Well, we have Olivia, who is recently embraced Gangrel. And Olivia is the daughter of a Russian ambassador who was brought over to Chicago, because there is a Russian consulate over here. It makes it easier because he had ties into some crime syndicates, as well as a couple of Russian family members. And she might or may not have been caught up in the middle of a kidnap scam where she almost died and somebody embraced her so she wouldn't stop dying.
So definitely heavily tied to Russians in every sense.
Somebody might have some criminal influence and criminal contacts. Yeah, I do not know much about Gabriel at the moment. I know that he is coming down from Chicago.
Second Gabe?
Not Gabriel. I'm sorry,
Gabriel.
Abel.
Abriel.
Gabriel.
Under the sea, Abriel.
I'm already ready to do, Char, Gable, Abel, go! But I look at it from what I understand with Abel, he's from Chicago, probably the only member really that's local. And he came down from there. I don't have a whole lot of details on him yet, but as soon as I do, we will be introducing him into the game.
Hopefully next week upon his return. And we miss you, brother. We hope you're doing well.
So, fingers crossed on that one, and hopefully things will improve and move forward with the story. I'm looking forward to seeing what all the bad decisions that you guys make. Who doesn't die, who survives, and who came very, very close to death, but yet still did not eat themselves into the sun.
Somehow he didn't die.
For the record, and I do want this on the record.
It's on the record.
It's on the record. You're talking about it right now.
I know. I'm talking about it right now. This is the record. You say, whoever's going to make it through and all that. I'm going to fight till my last breath.
Hold on.
The last breath.
You did last season. I still killed you.
Oh, wait, there's more. For every time only, more breathing.
No, but I think it depends. I mean, yesterday yesterday's episode when you pulled the whole flying thing, and you're like,
I'm so happy.
I'm like, all right, I'm gonna allow it because you've got it. But the thing is that and I still need that updated sheet, please.
Yeah, I know. My bad. I'm a terrible player, but a great friend.
He isn't
Vampires
that.
don't breathe, so how do you fight to any breaths? That's a fair point.
Yeah.
It's imitation breath, like it's like True Blood.
Think about it like a metaphor, okay?
Players make their decisions, and yes, it does. He also learned that some people now have incendiary rounds, and they are using them against each other.
And it hurts, yo. It sucks to be on the other side of that. Like, as James, I felt like a god. As Frank, I'm just like,
Ow.
medic!
Which,
Doc, I need stitches, yo!
which, ironically enough, Gabe is.
Yeah.
A resident doc. And I'm a poverty chemist, but we'll get more into that as the season goes on.
I mean, keep in mind that that's not necessarily my wheelhouse, so
Fuck.
I'll try, but
It won't happen one way or another.
I mean,
Look, I'm just
I think
saying,
my points are
Amelia
high
is
enough
more
in
for
medicine I can
killing
pull it
people.
off. Yeah, I think I'm better to keep people stitched up. I think I got like 3 in medicine, or no, 4 in medicine and 3 in tech. Or no, the other way around, because you had a higher medicine than I did.
yeah, and you have a higher tech.
Yeah, so like I could be hacker man.
Yeah, but
Amelia is about murder.
Yeah, Amelia is pretty much your murder hobo.
Well,
Amelia is
Frank will
Artemis
come to
from last
realize.
season.
Yeah, Frank will come to realize that you're just a battle midget that he can throw into a situation and have her
Actually,
season.
she's not.
metaphorical. Like her face is so adorable that I just imagine her being like 4'6". Like
She's not really that much of a battle midget either. Like she has the intelligence.
a brief sidebar on that. I know that we're trying to stay on, but we will have photos posted of our characters' portraits on which media?
It's probably gonna be Twitter and Instagram.
So we'll have that hopefully posted soon, so you guys can know exactly what we're talking about.
I did want to ask a question. Can we make a panel down below so that
I
you
plan
can...
on doing that.
Okay.
I can only do so many things.
No, but I would rather ask than not.
no, I
Get
can
an
do that.
opponent so you could... yes. The thing is that with the Thin Blood down there, he actually chemists, and he has alchemy. So he can make that potence chemical resonant to actually do that. He just has to get the blood for it. And he picked it... Actually...
I am a very useful Thin Blood. Let's just leave it at
Actually,
that.
talk about your feeding.
So,
that
my
was
feeding
actually
habits are really, really unusual for a Thin Blood. Just like, and the canonically, like story-wise, I'm just gonna say it's because he's a Thin Blood of a very rare clan, and it's probably some sort of disorder that he has. But he suffers from Methuselah's thirst. He has a prey exclusion for vampires and children. So really, I mean, since she was turned at 17, he should have taken 2 stains instead of 1. Oh, we should resolve that real quick. Yesterday, post-sesh, we did realize we left that off screen. Frank did take a stain, but it was resolved swiftly. I still have all my points in the places where they matter.
So if it helps, she is
Old as sin.
198 years old.
Still looks like a 17-year-old. Just saying. Still a child.
She did bring up that she was old as fuck. I am the oldest vampire in the group.
Probably. I don't know. I am. I turned like 1850. Yeah, I think I'm young as shit. Never mind. But so I suffer from Methuselah's thirst. I have prey exclusions for vampires and children. So I am stuck drinking Guru bloods and other Fey types. I'm not sure if mage counts, but we'll find that out as soon as Junie lets me drain one dry.
Right now we are experiencing just to let you know, we're in the red.
Raindrops.
And it's not us.
No,
my internet's fine.
It's on Twitch.
It's on Twitch.
Okay. Are we currently recording as well?
Yes.
Okay, so we can proceed as in, at least to an extent, and just move forward with that.
Okay.
So sorry for the delay if you guys are getting this intermittently. It will be available through YouTube.
Podbean also?
That will be a further project. It'll probably be every 2 weeks. When I just do a bunch of them at the same time. It's extra work because I'm actually going to cut things like our little intermission there where, Twitch is boning us.
Yeah,
and probably this because I just said Twitch is boning us. I'll probably cut that too in post. Yeah, you are right. Failing stain rolls, it would be great,
No,
but as
you
a thin
were
blood,
on a line.
I am walking a line because based on what was it? What's the Canadian one? Cambridge? No.
Vancouver by Night.
Vancouver by Night. Based on some of their thin blood resources that Junie is allowing for this, they require a minimum of 6 humanity. I am walking that line. Should I drop below 6? I'm going to be a terrible thin blood, and I might as well just try to drain Gwen dry. It won't happen. But a man can dream.
This is true. This is true.
But so that's kind of where I am with my feeding habits, and I like putting people to sleep when possible. It's not a requirement because
So
I'm
it's
already
Ricky to
limited.
James.
But I'm heavily limited in how I operate
Yeah.
because of the feeding habits. Like Methuselah's Thirst is the best gift and curse I can give myself, and with Prey Exclusion, well,
But also,
I'm glad I'm a chemist.
being that you actually did drink from Charlotte, he is 1 point blood bonded.
For the time being, now he's just gonna, avoid her like the plague for like a month,
She already proved that she's not going to abuse it.
possibly.
For now.
Until
the thing
she
about
absolutely
abuse
needs it.
is that it happens when she wants it. And Frank, to an extent, would have to take it, like, within a justified reason. Or
Right.
within a justified range,
See,
rather.
I would think that with her DID, that depending on who's in
Exactly.
charge at the moment.
Well, it depends. Do they
Okay,
both have
yeah,
the same
no,
knowledge
you-
base?
They do. They're co-conscious
Yeah.
a lot of the time, so they're both paying attention.
So Charlotte's going to be the queen bitch of my universe, is what you're telling me.
Pretty much. Like I said, Amelia doesn't have
Thanks,
problems with
Kerrigan.
you, but Charlotte thinks you're a cocky asshole.
I'm going to keep her sharp. That's all there is to it.
This will be entertaining to watch.
Oh, yeah. I'm
say the
expecting
least.
Frank to die by Charlotte by episode 6. If it's not by then I think I'm good for the rest of the season. That's the reason why William's my backup character.
Yeah, no kidding. I wanted to say, McStabber, I will be actually uploading episode 1 today up to YouTube, and then we will be doing fingers crossed the export of this shortly after that. So yeah.
I'm choosing to remain a thin blood because it gives me advantages as a daywalker, and to me that's glorious. Like, it's something we haven't had in previous groups, and even though I have vampiric resilience and I get hurt like a vamp, I can still kind of walk that Twilight line. Not like, I sparkle, but
He does sparkle.
Amelia's gonna
I've seen
cover
it.
him in glitter.
I'm sorry,
I can
is that
probably find a
Victoria?
ritual for that.
Oh god.
No, Amelia's Malkavian.
No. But that's so Victoria. I don't think Amelia would do that. Would she do that? Would that really be an
She's
Amelia
Malk.
thing?
It could be a thing.
I mean, she is Malk,
She's-
but she's not
she is
covering
more the
herself in
crazy
Nutella
one.
and, running around the Guru going,
No, that's what
"Ah."
Brujas do.
Yeah, right?
So
No, I've
but
considered it, but I want to.
Amelia's
I'm
the
very
Malkavian
specific
brain.
in Diablerie.
Charlotte's more the Ventru brain. That's why Charlotte was more calculating, and Amelia
Monstrous.
let her take over when it was the whole. Okay, so we have a newborn. Fuck.
Yeah, let's
Mhm.
talk about how we feel about that. How do we feel babysitting somebody that's literally 1/200th of our age?
Yeah, she's about 3 days old.
I don't
Anybody
know
else
how to
slightly
feel.
offended?
I don't know how to feel with that one.
Like, is it too late for a 3-day abortion? I mean,
Yeah,
I think for Gabe, it's not really an offense. It's just more of like, oh, here's something else I have to deal with.
Yeah.
so just more of an obstacle, more so than a.
Yeah, or I would even say like, and of course this is no offense to Sakari whatsoever, but like it's almost like just another burden. Like, that kind of thing.
Well, I think that we're carrying on the torch of last season where we had the 3 baby kindred. Now we have, 4 older, more experienced kindred, and now it's, here's another baby kindred. So it's kind of like passing on that torch.
She's our Annabelle.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's so adorable. I'm going to punt her.
Oh my god. I have not.
I have not.
I do not have it.
This is referencing the Cult of Blood pre-release manuscript. We have, at least I haven't touched it. Junie hasn't.
I did not get into the pre-order until after that was done and over with, unfortunately.
Well, I will acquire a copy because Thin Blood is best blood.
At least for this season until he gets killed off. Or
Right? Only for the moment, and it's gone.
Yeah. Be like, Thin Blood, yes! And I'm dead now.
Oh, yeah, no. I yesterday was a real wake-up call because he's not James.
He's not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And while he likes doing that was calculated for dropping the Molly, but the chase was pride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pride before the fall, literally.
Nice. Becomes a new drug called Ash. That would be great. I'm gonna have to try and see if I can get a copy of that.
We'll play with that a little bit.
Yeah.
Thanks for the heads up, McStabbers.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sorry.
Go for it.
Did you want to? All right. I kind of want to take a step into what occurred more so yesterday, if that's all right. So, in regards to story, obviously it started out a knock on it, or someone knocked on my door and left me a little dog.
It's a
left
puppy.
me a little dog. Yeah,
It's
left
a
me a
puppy.
doggo, aka Gangrel. Per Josh, in regards to a boon, and I wanted to verify: did I owe him a boon, or is it a boon that he is
It sounded
offering
like
me?
the way Junie was saying it, that he was calling in a boon that you owed him.
That's kind of why I thought, but I wanted to verify.
It was both. It was I'm calling out a boon, but it's a boon through the people that sent you.
Gotcha. Okay, so
And
it's through Eric ultimately.
It's through Eric because he's allowing you to come into Joliet and do your thing.
Gotcha. So this is
boon.
me repaying that.
You're repaying the boon at the same time he's offering you a minor boon to take care of this.
To manage the dog. Got
Now,
it. Okay.
you would have gotten a major boon had you been kindred. Because you're a thin blood, you're getting a minor.
That raised
So-
this big. I'm gonna drain him dry.
But the thing,
All right.
but you think about it this way. Joshua
There's a
is
stigma.
Joshua's a Bruja.
Oh yeah.
You're a thin blood of his clan. He's giving you a minor boon and a job where most people wouldn't have even bothered.
Right. No, that's fair. That's completely fair.
But with Joshua, you and Frank should know is that Joshua does have a thin blood community within Joliet and Naperville and sprinkles them all around the place so they're not all together at once. But they have enough contact with each other that they know how to work with each other. But as long as he keeps them as separated
At
as
arm's
possible,
length.
right?
6
got
feet apart.
Pretty much, it's social distancing. Because he's doing that, you guys all can't get together to connect as a clan to actually form and do anything noteworthy or possible against him.
That's fair. So it's calculated on his part, even though he seemed like an inept tool when he was talking to Gabe on the phone with stuff and things and stuff.
Stuff and things and crap and shit.
Right.
Yeah, basically.
Well, he's talking like a Bruja. He's hiding his true intelligence because he doesn't want people to know.
I
just
think he was floundering.
I'm sure he was floundering.
You would want to think that, but again, it's all the illusion of what
An inept leader in charge that needs to be overthrown immediately by Williams, what I'm hearing.
In theory, that's what you could hear, but the thing is that he could turn around and actually do a great political play and say, hey, William, why don't you take over the position? I'm going to do over this stuff, while in the background, keep all the puppets in play to report back to him while he goes into a better position.
Oh, God. That is so vampire. I love it.
Hold on, did I say something?
So that's the opening scene that we were hit with is being left with a dog. It then transitioned over to Gabe and Charmelia kicking down the door and blasting kicking down the door and saying
Almost.
hello to Joshua.
Almost.
There was a little altercation in regards to the Russian chick that Charmelia was left in charge of.
I was not left in charge.
All right, then correct me and take over.
Amelia had been contracted to keep an eye on her.
Great
And then-
eye.
No, the one night she was told by the Baron that she didn't need to watch her was the one night she died.
Great eye, sniper.
Sounds like a setup.
Yeah, it does.
I know what
By
you're talking about.
Josh or somebody else.
We'll find out.
But there was a little bit of shade thrown there in regards to on my night off. And then,
Yeah.
what is Frank? Is he a caitiff? No, he's a dustborn. Oh, he's poverty blood. Okay. He's a mudblood.
He's a mudblood.
Oh, yeah.
Hence, from there, kind of transitioned back into the scene with Amelia, or not Amelia, Olivia, thank you. I knew it was an Ivia. I knew it was an Ia of some sorts at the end. So it transitioned back to Frank and Olivia having a brief chat, going over a couple things. Then somebody knocked on my door, slide the doodad, saw that it was, little she-devil with her scowl, and Gabe from work. I work with him.
He's the guy, I work with.
He's a co-worker. Anyway, so opened up the door. They came in. We further discussed the traditions, some of the clans, some of the supers with the new blood. A Nosferatu snuck in and got Gabe's attention. Got Gabe's attention while Gabe was corresponding with Josh over the phone, and stuff and shit and things and doodads happened. I feel like I'm missing something horrible. We are going to evacuate the warehouse because not as secure because of Russian connections, based on some of the details that the coterie encountered.
No,
And,
also because of Elizabeth's scare because she popped in there.
Yeah. I'm not thrilled about that. And I looked into it. Security does give me a role on that, Judy.
Sure, okay.
Just for future reference.
You are forgetting Ghost in the Machine, correct?
You are forgetting.
Fuck you, Junie.
There you go.
But just so you know, Miss,
I didn't even have to play the card. She did.
Don't forget, fuck you, Miss.
Yes.
That's top shelf fuckery, though. Anyways,
Yes.
getting back a little bit on topic here.
But I just wanted
so
to put that cog
No,
in your
good,
wheel
you're
for
good,
you.
You're good. So she's 3 points off you, Skate. I appreciate the heads up.
Well, no, she has 3 points of obfuscate. You don't know if she has more.
I'm just assuming that's a minimum.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, I'm assuming 10 points because why not? But anyways, so we evacuated our dance floor of My Haven because, well, if a Nos got in, why not? Well, he didn't know that, but it was just a matter of we felt we could protect the Munchkin more efficiently, I think, over at Charmelia's place.
Amelia's thought was, this is a warehouse. I have a real house with real beds.
Instead of steel cots. I mean, I could throw her in the jail cell. That would go over really well. She wouldn't be going and drinking anyone dry.
Real house with
Jail
real
cell.
beds and enough bedrooms for most everyone. I'm actually like one bed short.
It's a good thing I went home then. And I'm going to be avoiding your calls, ghosting
I mean, you did
you.
volunteer to watch during the day.
Only,
Yeah, that's the plan.
Only if you pass your willpower check with the bond.
Yeah, we'll find out. That's next. That's future Frank's problem. Anyway, so we get it over there. We discuss best way to defend the home. more or less, Frank removes himself from the scene, going to grab sunscreen because while Charmelia just does present a great illusion of actually being a real girl, not a real girl.
She doesn't have sunscreen or vodka now at this point.
You know, he might repay for that bottle, but it was great. It served its purpose, and y'all learned a lot about Frank, and that's unfortunate.
So we know he likes vodka, and we know he likes to turn around and
Molly
Disney.
people.
Perfect.
Well, no, getting shot is low on his list of things. That was not calculated.
Really?
at
Because it
all.
seemed like you wanted.
It did.
You know,
I'm just saying, like,
if
Hashtag
so,
thrown to James.
you know, if we're going raw, and I'm going to drop the book on you, Junie, I should have seen the motion of turning around and leveraging before he blasted.
I did state that. I did say because you slowed him down enough. You have him enough. You can see him turn around and shoot. I did say that.
Okay, I might have
did.
misunderstood. Hashtag
Let's
on
see
me
your
as a
storyteller.
player.
Boom.
Well, Junie, it's really hard to follow.
I can't help that.
All right. We're not going to throw shade. We're going to throw. Anyways, story.
If you want
The
to
real
throw
reason you guys are here.
Yeah.
I'm here for the shade. I don't know about anybody else.
I mean, also, yeah.
So Frank removes himself from the scene. Baby Gangrel's sires right down the street in a AT&T van, I believe it was, or was it singular?
It was an
It was some,
AT&T
it was some
van.
poverty connection. It
Yeah.
was some poverty company. You know, some indie company.
Some sub-directive company. There you go.
Yeah. Some satisfactory. But so she starts to get pulled by her sire that's hiding out in that van. With the quick thinking of Gabe, Gabe does some tomfoolery of the Tremere variety. And,
then
follows the
Amelia
blood
shoves her in a
bond.
closet.
Yeah, pantry. But Gabe was able to track down exactly where that bloodline was coming from, and chaos ensued.
When you have a
Frank
well,
re-arrived on the scene. We went in, was like, okay, I got the stuff, and they're like, oh, well, her sire's out there. Came up with the idea that he wanted to carpet bomb him. Because why not flex that you could fly?
For the record, I would have gone much more subtle, but
What?
You know, yeah,
I
it's
was curious
appreciation.
when you started talking about the bottle of vodka and the rag. I was like, all right, let's see where this is gonna go.
Yeah.
You know, I was channeling my inner Bruja there, and my inner Anarch. Like, nothing screams anarchy like a Molly.
But I want to ask the question because I'm curious. What would you have done, Gabe, had you led it?
I would have probably tried to subtly get a bit more closer to actually see who we were dealing with.
Yeah.
And I had a couple options. For the human guy that inevitably caught fire, I would have actually tried to basically kidnap him and put him in. I don't remember the name of the ritual, but it's basically like Zone of Truth. Get
Put
some
him in baby
see
cage.
what information
That would've
he
been
knew. Yeah, so a bit more subtlety, not as direct, but I mean it was like it turned out okay, I guess. But there's just a very different process there.
Yeah. But I wanted to see how the differences between, you know, like with the Tremere and a thin blood, actually showing the differences of thinking and the way the players would have actually done that.
Yeah.
Well, I just imagine a Bruja is kind of like a Titan from Destiny 2. Like, we eat crayons and we punch things.
See, but you're like Molotoving an AT&T van, and I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna attract attention. What the hell is he thinking?
Not wrong.
He was thinking that if it's burning, the kindred would burn.
And I
Burning's
respect that line of
bad.
I respect that line of thought.
But it wasn't fully fleshed out.
It wasn't. There was no afterthought. Like it was just like, oh, I have an idea, but what then?
It doesn't matter!
I assumed it was going to go to how he planned. Is, you know, the van would catch fire. They would try to drive away like morons. The fire would spread. And the vampires would burn from the inside out. That was how he imagined it in that moment.
Yeah, how did it actually roll out for you?
Well, I got
It was not
shot.
like
You
that.
tell me, Junie.
Mistakes were made. Mistakes
But
were made.
but anyway, so I carpet bombed the AT&T van. Well, not I. Frank carpet bombed the AT&T van.
So he goes and he starts.
I'm
blasting.
being watched by the FBI now. Great.
Good job.
Not you, Alexa. So drop that. Vampire moves to escape. Moment that Frank sees him, he just pops a little bit of a little gift, a leaden moment from the true Bruja tree. Yeah, little snap of his fingers, and he slows down somebody that should be moving 50 miles an hour to
Nothing.
a mere sprint.
Almost nothing.
He was not happy about that.
Well, you got to
You
assert your
should've known
dominance
better.
and show him the shaft. So.
Yeah, how did that work out for you?
I know his voice, and I'm assuming I have an idea of what he looks like because I was within a couple yards of him.
Oh, you know what he
So
looks
now
like.
that I know the face, and I know the voice, and I know that he likes to heckle, and I like to heckle, it's just going to be two
Yeah.
jokers going at it.
Yeah.
You're not
Anyways,
wrong.
moving on from that, shots were fired from Charmelia's home. She just kicked down the window and started blasting. Her and Olivia landed some good shots. I believe Gabe removed the urge for Olivia to kick down the door and start blasting us and get to the sire. Or no, wait.
No. Before
Oh,
that,
no.
it
He
was.
put out the car.
Yeah.
And
Gabe put out the
healed it.
car. Amelia used Mesmerize to make her sit the fuck down.
That's right. You told her to shut up and color, and she did it.
She did very
Well,
well.
she did until I dropped Mesmerize and he pulled the bond again.
That's fair.
But she resisted this time, and then
Yep.
she realized, oh, since she's firing from hers,
Yeah, well, let's fire from another window.
I'm gonna fire from another window on the bottom, on the main floor of the house.
But so that's what happened with the escape. Frank stumbles back, trying to heal up what he can, and begs the doc to get rid of the round in his chest after he partakes of something yummy but not good for him. He drank from Charmelia.
Mhm.
And now 1 point blood bond because stupid. 4 points of hunger though, so I mean it was either that or eat
Yeah.
everybody, and I'm pretty sure they like their faces.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. But then I think you like to live too.
Yeah, that's kind of top shelf for me. They cut me open, removed the incendiary round. They glued me back together with Gorilla Glue. Which, speaking of which,
Specifically.
I'm going to healing salve that during the
Clear
week, Junie,
Gorilla Glue.
and
Fair enough.
pull the glue away to kind of, heal
Well-
up properly.
Well, it's at least Amelia knows now that she has to keep fishing wire or something somewhat on hand.
Yeah, but will she?
No, so I'm going to keep a fishing line. I'm going to keep, 200-pound test line, steel stuff in the back of my bike because that's useful. It's just having that little pouch where you can keep a vial of blood that you can actually drink, some, steel fishing line that you use for sharks and shit. Like, he's going to put some thought into that because he went to a situation unprepared,
Yeah.
and he should have grabbed at least 2 other vials before he left for a tier 3 and a tier 2 discipline. But short-sightedness, he was in a rush.
Also, you think about it. When you left, you only thought you were going to go over to her house,
All
set
right,
up the
yeah.
baby vamp, and then go back home. So it wasn't. It was more the fact of not just being short-sighted. It was like, I'm not. That's not the
Yeah, it
thing
wasn't
I'm
the
going to
long-term
do.
plan. It was a short-term plan.
Right.
Yeah.
Have a good evening, McStabbers. Thank you for joining us.
Can't wait to see you guys this evening.
I hope you love James' art.
Oh my God, that's right.
It's
Yep.
canon now. I
Oh
love
my
it.
God, it was amazing.
Oh, so glorious.
Their vignette
So
was
much
fantastic
happiness.
yesterday or
Oh
Wednesday.
yeah. Oh yeah. I loved it.
So,
So,
go ahead.
I apologize.
No, go ahead.
Just trying to keep it kind of on track. So, closing scene. Frank leaves. The other kindreds start setting up for the rest of the night since it was about 1 a.m. I believe Charmelia received a text message from Artemis chasing
Yes, and also
Peckerhead
text
down.
messages from William.
Yeah, I was going to leave those off the table because NPC.
Yeah, but she was playing on her phone. That was kind of a prevalent thing.
That's fair. So William is currently out of the country, hunting down a gypsy,
Indeed.
trying to find a bloodline of a certain, very certain variety
Mm-hmm.
as a solution to one of Artemis's problems.
Ah, it's just a wee one. Oh, poquito.
Closing scene, Artemis is chasing down a bullet-ridden vampire through the sewers of what I'm assuming is somewhere between Joliet and Chicago.
Somewhere around that.
And that's where the scene ended, and yesterday's Chronicle took a nosedive.
It was a very interesting session.
Oh, it was a great first session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was nice getting back in the swing of things. I'm not sure about y'all, but
I missed it so much.
it's a necessary evil. Everyone needs a little vampire in their lives.
Even if you can't get it all the time, you know, it was nice to actually be back in the seat again, storytelling. I enjoyed it. I missed you guys.
Oh, we missed you
Oh,
too.
we missed you too.
Because I'm like,
Even though I talk to you on a pretty regular basis.
but the
Right.
thing is that, you know, there's that thing up between storyteller and player where you can actually like go, okay, look, we're going to tell a story together. I'm providing you all of this. Now tell me what you're going to do.
Show me what you've got. I like what you've got.
Pretty much, because the way that the dynamics have now changed. Now that we have Olivia in here, and when Gabriel comes in, or not Gabriel, you're already here. When Abel comes in, too many people with same names.
Similar names.
I'm
like
fucked this season. That's
Gabriel and Abel. Like,
I
Just
mean, I
spell
can
his
change
name
my
wrong.
it.
name.
No, it's like
no, just spell
so.
Abel's name wrong. That way you remember that it's Abel. If you do A-B-L-E instead of A-B-E-L, you won't think Gable. You'll think, I am Abel.
yes, but they
And like I
rhyme.
said, you can always just call Gabriel like Dr. Sexy
Doc.
MD or something. Fine.
She tried to get me to put Dr. Sexy
That's not canon.
on
That's
the
not canon.
thing.
Although, when we finally post images of our characters and such, you will see Gabe's a nice piece of ass. Like,
Yeah. A nice shiny
He's-
ass
he's
that
got a
Gabe wants to
nice-
keep.
What was it? A shiny, smooth ass? Was that what it
Something
was?
like that.
it was a
I
shiny,
don't
smooth.
remember.
I'm telling you, it was a shiny, smooth ass.
oh,
Because,
glorious.
you know, hey, if they're Tremere, they have to have a shiny, smooth ass.
It's true.
It's
You
all
know,
about
it's
It's
it.
a
probably
requirement.
polished with
Actually,
blood
when we're
magic.
indoctrinated, the first thing they do is wax the ass.
Yes.
That's step one.
before,
So much waxing is.
It's part of the initiation, right?
yeah.
No. I mean, you're a doctor. You scrub.
Well, yeah, but you
That's
have to
much-
wax first, then scrub.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's pulling the hairs. You're right. You're right.
And before Gabe was embraced, his whole body was waxed, so everything's
so
all
he's always perfect.
he's just
Yeah.
always so smooth.
It's like
I am
this, I don't
disgusted
need
by
to
perfection.
manscape because it's like it's already taken
Perpetually manscaped.
Yeah.
It's there.
They
We're
did that
good.
in the
I'm
1830s.
done.
care of.
Was
What?
it 1850s? They did that in the 1850s.
I mean-
They waxed.
Gabe
Well-
did.
Well, I mean, he's a foreigner. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, not.
This was his
Okay.
tradition.
I guess.
Fair
Sure.
enough.
We'll go with that. Tradition.
Wait
Right.
now. What the hell?
Tradition.
Yes.
So,
So-
taking a step away from Gabe's ass.
Woohoo!
But it's
Do we
such a
have,
nice ass.
I mean,
Do we have any closing remarks, comments, any ideas of what our character is going to be doing in preparation for next week? Or
that's right. 3 goals.
I'm
All of
actually
you.
working on my goals right now.
3
I'm
goals.
Ooh.
Not.
well, I will
no
verbally
idea.
tell you, and then I'll send them to you in a format that you can read.
Remember, because I will sleep past today and not remember.
So you suffer from the forgetful Malkavian. Got it. So at least in regards to Frank, for short-term goals, he's going to make healing salves because that's a 3-point thin blood alchemy skill that he's learned.
Yes, it is.
He can finish healing off that ouchie hurty damage that's literally hurting him from the inside. immediately rather than short term, and then he's going to probably power nap and willpower his way awake to drive over on his bike and babysit the house.
Yeah, that sounds
At least
fair.
for the next week. So he'll take the day shifts while they take nights to train baby Vam.
Okay.
I mean, Amelia's going to be getting in contact with her 3-point contact to figure out just how deep into the Russian mafia Olivia is.
Okay.
That's a good goal.
That sounds fair.
This character is completely turned around from Victoria, who's just like, I'm going to crochet all the fucking time.
No. I'm going to pull all the strings and be the queen that I need to be.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
All right. Well, at least we have
So I have
2 out
one
of
goal. I got
2 out of 5. Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. I mean, we have goals of sorts. Like
Yeah.
there's filler that we can throw in there, but
Yeah, but I
All
would
right,
rather
well.
say this now on record. Yeah. Just so
you have my
that
undivided attention. What's on record, Junie?
that you owe me 3 goals.
It shall be done.
I have to message out Olivia just so she can work on that during the week.
And the artist formerly known as Ed.
I do not know what's up with Head, but I am hoping that he will get in contact with me this week. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I'll shoot him a text post.
Oh yeah, I mean I don't want to rush him. I know that whatever's
I know,
going
just
on.
to say hi.
Well,
yeah.
I would rather him kind of like let me know so I have a feeling, what's going on.
That's fair.
And then if we introduce him next week, or if it later
Yeah, if
time.
we push it, then we push it.
Yeah.
All right.
Make it work.
Push it real good.
So that's character goals. Any thoughts, comments that, I mean, I know I myself want to see more Inquisition, but what about you guys? Is there something more that you want out of
What
this
season do
upcoming
you want
chronicle?
to see?
I feel like I'm already going to be getting more out of this upcoming chronicle. I feel like there's a lot more that I can do with the Tremere. And now that I know a little bit more about how things are run, I feel like I can get into it a little bit more than I could when I was in. So
And
I'm
you
already
roll real
like,
well with
psyched
your
about
sorcery.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
For me, I think I'm gonna get more of it too because I'm not playing Ditzy Von Ditz Pants.
That's a nice way to put that. I would have gone with Von, Bedazzled Pants, but
Yeah, well,
Ditzy
yeah.
Von Bedazzled Pants doesn't have the same ring as Ditzy Von Ditz Pants.
Yes.
Victoria was ditzy as fuck.
But you look at it from the standpoint of those were all your first characters.
Right.
You did not make them for you wanted to learn how to play the game.
they were not
Yeah.
battle hardened.
You weren't playing them to survive, you were playing them to understand the game.
Yeah.
Now that you've actually turned around and made a character that you're knowing that you got to utilize, move, and do things with, it's now working your wheelhouses and with their wheelhouses, and this is where the conflicts come in. The personality complexes, the set clashes, this is my training versus this is what you're doing versus this is what the Sunblood's doing. What the fuck?
Yeah, there's going to be
Yes,
a standoff between Charlotte and Frank.
Didn't go into traditions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ease her into it, and he had a decent reason for it. Like,
But I am looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Like,
I am. Too.
oh yeah, every step.
And being
And
that
thank you for hosting it, Junie,
Yeah.
and being our storyteller.
No problem. You know me. I love a good story that I can kill people with. Oh, did I say that out loud? Shit.
Yes, you did.
Damn!
my
Record
job to kill
Last
you. It's
season,
just
you racked up a body
bonus.
count of like 70, 80 people plus Mage War, which I don't
Yeah.
keep track of. Yeah,
So
Mage
much
War.
death. So much death
Yeah,
during
death
that.
and destruction, and I'm sure that there were a bunch of people dying.
The
but-
taxes were very high. Yes.
I think that's a good note to kind of segue into just a reminder that we do host Vampire on the RPG table, 2 p.m. Most Saturdays. We will notify y'all every session whether or not we'll be doing it immediately or next one. Currently, we are on our Last Breath Chronicle. This is season 2 with an entirely different subset of characters of Frank, Charlotte / Amelia, Gabe, Olivia, as well as Abel when he is finally able to return to us, hosted by our storyteller Junie Von Esch. if you guys are watching this in the future, then we might be on season 3 or 4, or Junie might have just killed all our characters, flipped the table, and said "fuck it." But if you are watching this in the
Likely.
future, thank you for watching. We appreciate you. All of our resources are available on. Do you want to go through the social medias there, Smalls?
We have a YouTube, we have a Twitter, we have an Instagram. Twitter handle is table_RPG. Instagram is the RPG table, and YouTube is also the RPG table. And if you're watching us on Twitch, you know where we are. It's also the RPG table.
Slam the follow button.
Yes.
Catch us in real time.
Just
Heckle
yeet
us
that
in real
follow
time.
button.
Yeah, yeet it out the window.
Yeet it like
And-
you yeet your fellow kindred. Just yeet it.
No one tosses a dwarf.
They got us there. Well, no, we almost came close to tossing Victoria last season.
I wish.
Wait,
I need to roll
what?
a Brujah to toss her.
Wait, what?
And I think that's the best note we can bail out on. So thank you all for joining us on Take a Breath, our weekly post recap of our shenanigans from each episode. We appreciate your time, and thanks for tuning in.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.